Have you ever wondered if living alone could lead to a more fulfilling, empowered life? What if I told you that solitude could be the key to discovering your true self, building deeper relationships, and living more intentionally? In a world that often emphasizes partnership, we sometimes forget that living alone can be one of the most transformative choices you can make. This video isn't just about living alone. It's about embracing the power of solitude to unlock personal growth, creativity, and emotional well-being. I'll show you how choosing to live alone can give you the freedom to explore your passions, make decisions based solely on your own needs, and develop a deeper connection with both yourself and the world around you. Stick with me until the end, and I'll reveal how living alone can boost your resilience, sharpen your decision-making skills, and even improve your physical and emotional health. Plus, you'll learn why being comfortable in your own company is the key to forming more meaningful relationships with others. You don't want to miss this. You might just discover that the best companion you'll ever need is the one you already have, yourself. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Now, before you jump to conclusions, let me make something clear. I'm not here to criticize relationships. Relationships can be beautiful, transformative, and deeply meaningful. They hold the potential to enrich our lives in ways we never imagined. But here's the truth I've come to realize, and it's not an easy truth to accept for everyone. Relationships are not the only path to happiness or fulfillment. And for many of us, they might not even be the best path. Living alone is not a statement of rejection, not a refusal of love or connection. It's a declaration of independence, a commitment to truly embracing yourself, just as you are. Living alone offers something powerful that we often overlook. It's the opportunity to build a life that is perfectly in tune with your deepest values and your truest aspirations. It's a chance to discover who you are without the constant need to compromise, adapt, or adjust to someone else's wants and needs. It's about the freedom to shape your world, your space, and your time in a way that feels authentic to you. It's a journey of self-discovery and personal growth, a journey that's difficult, if not impossible, to take when you're constantly balancing your desires with another person's. Take a moment to think about this. When was the last time you paused long enough to truly listen to your thoughts without interruption? When did you last make a decision that was entirely for you, without considering how it might impact someone else? When was the last time you arranged your home exactly as you envisioned, without needing anyone's approval or input? These might seem like small, insignificant moments, but they are anything but trivial. They are the building blocks of your life, and they shape the person you are becoming. Living alone is about finally having the space to honor those small things, the quiet moments, the small choices that ultimately make up the entirety of your experience. I can already sense some of you squirming a bit. Maybe you're thinking, but I don't want to be alone forever. And I get that. I do. But here's the thing. Living alone doesn't mean you are doomed to a life of isolation. It's not a rejection of love or companionship. It's not about closing yourself off from meaningful relationships. It's about learning to prioritize yourself, first and foremost. It's about building a solid foundation of self-love and self-reliance that will only make you stronger in all aspects of your life, including future relationships, if you choose to have them. Living alone is an invitation to truly know yourself. It's the chance to discover your needs, your wants, your quirks, and your dreams without anyone else's influence or expectations weighing in. It's about learning to enjoy your own company and to be comfortable in your skin. There's a unique beauty in the solitude that comes with living alone. It gives you the space to face your fears, your insecurities, and the parts of yourself you might otherwise avoid. It's in that quiet, uninhabited space that you learn to become your own best friend, your own biggest supporter. You develop the ability to rely on yourself, to trust your instincts, and to solve problems without looking to someone else for answers. These are not just nice-to-have qualities. They are life-changing skills that will serve you, no matter what stage of life you're in or what your relationship status may be. And now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the everyday realities of living alone that can feel so liberating. First, and most obviously, there's the unparalleled freedom. When you live alone, you hold the reins to your own time. The choices are all yours. Want to stay up until 3 a.m. binge watching your favorite show without worrying about disturbing anyone? Go ahead. Want to spend an entire weekend wrapped up in a creative project, lost in your world, without anyone needing your attention? It's yours to do. Want to eat ice cream for dinner while dancing around in your pajamas? No judgment, just pure, unfiltered freedom. But this freedom extends far beyond just what you do in your free time. It's about the way you live your entire life. Without the constant need to negotiate and accommodate a partner's preferences, you can truly design your life the way you've always wanted. You can chase your dreams without hesitation, take risks without considering how they might impact someone else's life, and make decisions based solely on what's best for you, because you are your priority. Let's not forget the monumental role personal growth plays in all of this. When you're in a relationship, it's easy to fall into a routine, to stay in your comfort zone. You might avoid challenges because you have someone to lean on. But when you live alone, you are forced to face your fears, to challenge yourself, to step out of your comfort zone. You grow in ways you never thought possible. I remember the first time I lived alone. The silence was almost deafening. It felt as though my thoughts had nowhere to go. The empty spaces in my home echoed with a kind of loneliness that was hard to bear. But with time, I began to fill that silence with my voice, my desires, and my ambitions. I came to see those empty spaces not as voids, but as blank canvases, waiting to be filled with my energy, my creativity, and my essence. Living alone taught me self-reliance in a way that nothing else could. It gave me the strength to stand on my own, to own my space and my life. In the end, living alone isn't about being alone forever, or rejecting love. It's about learning how to love yourself first. It's about rediscovering the beauty of your own company and letting that be the foundation from which you build everything else. When something breaks in my home, my first instinct isn't to turn to a partner or wait for someone else to fix it. I know I have to handle it on my own, figuring out a solution at the moment. It's the same with tough decisions. There's no one else to ask, no one else to rely on for the answer. It's all on me. At first, this can feel overwhelming and, truthfully, a bit daunting. But as I've learned over time, there's a certain strength that comes from being the one who has to take the reins. Every time I solve a problem on my own, there's a growing sense of empowerment that follows. I begin to see how capable I truly am. I realize that I can handle challenges I once thought were too big and too difficult. Each hurdle crossed strengthens me, not just in skill, but in confidence. I learned that I am far more self-sufficient and resilient than I could have ever imagined. And then there's the incredible process of self-discovery. Living alone gives me the space to truly be myself without the constant adjustments to someone else's presence. I can explore the depths of who I am, try new things, and fail without fear of being judged. I can embrace the quirks and eccentricities that make me uniquely me, without needing to explain them to anyone. I'm not bound by anyone else's expectations or the dynamics of a relationship. There's something incredibly liberating about having the freedom to dive into your passions, to pursue your interests without compromise, without needing to balance them against someone else's desires or needs. It's a gift of profound self-exploration. Living alone is the ultimate opportunity to get to know yourself in ways that often seem impossible when you're in a relationship. I've come to realize the beauty of truly understanding my rhythms, my preferences, my habits, my needs. I have learned to listen to my inner voice and to trust my instincts in a way I didn't before. It's like learning to dance to your music, without the influence of anyone else's tune. I've discovered strengths in myself that I didn't know existed, and at times, I've also confronted weaknesses I'd rather have ignored. But that's where growth lies, doesn't it? In facing the things we fear or avoid. With each day, I build a stronger, more authentic version of myself. This knowledge, this deep, unshakable understanding of who I am, becomes the foundation for a life of true purpose. The more I know myself, the more I can make decisions that align with my deepest values. I'm no longer swayed by the opinions of others or by external pressures. I'm less likely to settle or compromise on the things that matter. And as a result, the life I'm creating for myself is richer, more fulfilling, and, above all, real. I can see now that the only way to truly live a fulfilling life is to live one that's deeply in tune with your authentic self. I know, some of you might be wondering, but what about loneliness? Isn't living alone the same as being isolated? It's a valid concern, but here's the truth that I've come to understand over time. Loneliness doesn't always come with solitude. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. You can be in a relationship and feel disconnected. But being alone, truly, deeply alone, doesn't equate to loneliness. It's possible to feel completely fulfilled and rich in love, friendship, and purpose while enjoying your own company. The key lies in cultivating a rich, meaningful inner life, and in nurturing relationships outside of romantic bonds. When you live alone, you have the space to build deep, fulfilling friendships and strong family connections. You have the time to invest in your community in ways that might be more difficult if you're focused on maintaining the dynamic of a couple. Living alone doesn't mean you're isolated from the world. On the contrary, it allows you the freedom to choose your interactions and to prioritize relationships that bring joy and depth to your life, rather than staying in situations simply out of fear of loneliness. And here's something I've realized that brings me peace. When you're comfortable with being on your own, when you've built a life that's deeply fulfilling without needing a partner to complete you, then, and only then, are you in the right frame of mind to enter a relationship if you choose to. The beauty is, you won't be coming from a place of desperation or need. You'll be coming from a place of wholeness and self-sufficiency. Think about it. How many people do you know who constantly jump from one relationship to another, never taking the time to discover who they are? How many settle for less than they deserve, simply because they fear being alone? If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Living alone shatters that cycle. It teaches you that your happiness does not depend on being with someone else. It's a powerful realization, one that frees you from the pressure of finding the one. You can approach relationships from a place of choice, rather than necessity. And because you've cultivated a full, vibrant life on your own, you're in a better position to be discerning about the people you let into it. You can choose relationships that truly enhance your life, knowing that your happiness and fulfillment are not dependent on someone else's presence. You are complete as you are, and that's the most liberating feeling in the world. Living alone can be one of the most freeing and empowering experiences. It's a chance to truly rediscover who you are, to delve into your personal growth in a way that's often nearly impossible when you're living in a relationship. Without the constant tug-of-war between your own needs and your partner's desires, you have the chance to pour your energy into everything that matters most to you. Whether it's your career, your education, your passions, or your projects. I've watched too many people put their dreams on the back burner for the sake of someone else. They let go of the job of a lifetime because their partner doesn't want to move. They give up their hobbies because they feel guilty that their partner doesn't share the same interests. They hold back their goals because they feel the need to align with someone else's vision of the future. But when you live alone, there's none of that pressure. There's no need to suppress your own needs or dreams just to make someone else feel comfortable. Living alone means you can chase your dreams with an unwavering, single-minded focus. You can take risks without the constant fear of how they might impact someone else's life. Every decision you make, every move you take, becomes an act of self-discovery and empowerment. And no, this doesn't mean you become self-centered or selfish. I believe living alone makes you more open, more empathetic, and more compassionate. You're no longer caught in the web of a primary relationship, so you have the emotional bandwidth to care about others, invest in your community, and contribute to causes that matter. Living alone grants you a clearer path to spreading love and compassion beyond your home, enriching your life and the world around you. But let's talk about something that's often overlooked: mental health. In today's world, where we're constantly plugged into technology, bombarded with messages, notifications, and the pressures of social expectations, true solitude feels like a distant dream. Yet, when you live alone, you can create a sacred space of peace, something so rare these days. This solitude can be incredibly healing, offering you the time and space to listen to your own heart, process emotions, and reflect deeply on your thoughts without the interference of external noise. It's almost like hitting a reset button for your soul. I'll never forget the moment I first started living alone. It was almost like a veil was lifted. The constant mental chatter and negotiation of living with someone else faded away, and for the first time in a long time, I could hear my thoughts. I could finally connect with my own needs, desires, and emotions in a way that had been drowned out for years. And that clarity, it was life-changing. It brought a sense of peace and understanding that has stayed with me ever since. It helped me understand myself on a deeper level, make better choices, and set firmer, more loving boundaries. It was a journey to reconnect with the truest version of myself. Living alone also opens the door to listening more closely to your intuition. Without constantly adapting to someone else's preferences, you can give your instincts the room they need to speak freely. And when we're talking about creativity, the potential is limitless. Living alone can truly be a creative playground. There are no interruptions, no one to compete for the space, and no one to feel guilty about spreading your things out. You can dive into your passions headfirst, whether it's staying up late writing that novel or leaving your art supplies sprawled out for as long as you need. You can practice your music, sing your heart out, or lose yourself in a project without worrying about how it affects anyone else. This freedom isn't just a luxury, it's often a necessity for creative souls. Many of the most accomplished artists, writers, and innovators have found that their greatest moments of inspiration come when they are alone and when they have the mental space to fully immerse themselves in their creative process. When you live alone, you can create an environment that nurtures your creative fire, allowing it to burn brightly without distractions. Of course, I know that some of you might be thinking about the practical side of things. Isn't living alone more expensive? Isn't it harder to handle everything on your own? And yes, I won't sugarcoat it. It can be tougher financially and logistically. But for all of its challenges, the benefits of living alone outweigh the struggles by far. Yes, it might be more expensive than splitting rent with a partner, but the trade-off is total control over your finances. No more worrying about whether your partner is overspending or not pulling their weight. You can budget according to your priorities, without the stress of negotiating or compromising on shared expenses. Every decision you make, every dollar you spend, becomes a conscious choice made just for you. Living alone means creating a life that is entirely your own, uncompromised, free, and fully yours. It's a chance to thrive, to rediscover your passions, to focus on what truly matters, and to live with intention. So, while there may be challenges along the way, the rewards of living alone, of truly embracing solitude, are endless. And trust me, it's an adventure worth taking. Managing a household on your own can initially feel overwhelming, almost like a mountain too steep to climb. But if you allow yourself the space to embrace it, it transforms into an incredible opportunity for personal growth and discovery. There's a raw beauty in learning how to take care of everything on your own. You begin to realize just how much you're capable of. From learning how to fix a leaky faucet to navigating the complex maze of taxes, every new skill you master builds layers of confidence and competence. And the sense of empowerment that comes with this is indescribable. It's not just about completing tasks. It's about realizing that you, all by yourself, are enough. You don't need to rely on anyone for your survival, your comfort, or your happiness. That kind of self-sufficiency can be a revelation, like a hidden treasure you never knew existed until you stumbled upon it. Living alone isn't just about taking care of chores or managing the practical side of things. It's also about creating a space that truly mirrors who you are at your core. Your home becomes an extension of yourself, a sanctuary crafted by your own hands. Every little corner is an expression of your personality, your tastes, and your soul. There's no one else to please, no compromises made over how things are arranged or decorated. It's all yours, and that's a profound thing. It might sound like something small, decorating your living room just how you want it, but when you walk into a space that truly feels like home, it's nothing short of magical. It supports you, nurtures you, and gives you the space to breathe. There's something deeply restorative about coming home to a place that feels in perfect harmony with who you are. One of the most liberating aspects of living alone is the freedom it grants you to shape your days. No one else's needs or preferences have to be factored in. You get to design your routine based on what feels right for you. Are you a night owl, getting your best work done in the stillness of the night? Embrace it. Do you like to eat dinner at 9 p.m.? That's your choice. Want to start your mornings with an hour of meditation? The space is yours to fill. This kind of freedom can transform not only your productivity but also your health. You sleep better because you're in tune with your natural rhythms, and you feel more balanced and focused. There's no need to adjust to someone else's schedule, no constant compromise. It's a rare gift to live according to your inner clock, and it can lead to a deeper sense of peace and well-being. But perhaps the most beautiful part of living alone is the opportunity it gives you to deepen your relationship with yourself. It's just you, with no distractions, and no one else's presence to define your space. At first, this might feel uncomfortable, even lonely. But over time, it becomes a chance to meet yourself in ways you never have before. You confront your thoughts, your feelings, your fears, and, in the process, you learn to accept them all. You discover a strength and a contentment in your own company that you never thought possible. This is a skill, a gift that lasts a lifetime, and it can enrich all of your relationships, even those with others. It may sound cliché, but learning to enjoy your own company is one of the most profound gifts you can give yourself. Because no matter how many relationships you have in the future, no matter how many people come into your life, there will always be moments when it's just you. Embracing those moments and finding peace within them is invaluable. And here's the truth that many might not want to admit. Living alone doesn't equate to a life lacking in fulfillment. Society often glorifies coupledom, portraying it as the epitome of happiness and excitement. But I can tell you, from the depths of personal experience, that this idea is a myth. Living alone is not a life of solitude and stagnation. It's a life filled with possibility, freedom, and the kind of spontaneous adventures that can often be stifled when you're part of a couple. There's something magical about the freedom to say yes to new experiences without having to consult anyone else. You can take last-minute trips, try new hobbies, and explore the world on your terms. Your life becomes a canvas, and you are the artist, free to create as you please. Living alone gives you the rare opportunity to fill your days with the things that truly resonate with your soul, and to choose the people, the activities, and the adventures that truly bring you joy. You're not confined by anyone else's preferences, routines, or comfort zones. The world becomes a playground for your spirit, and you are free to explore every inch of it. There's a quiet joy in this freedom, a contentment that comes from living life exactly as it feels right for you. It's a gift that, once you embrace it, will reveal just how rich and full your life can be, even without a partner by your side. If you've ever felt a deep yearning to break free, to push the boundaries of your comfort zone, to explore life in all its vastness, I urge you to follow that instinct. Want to take up skydiving? Do it. Want to spend a month backpacking through South America? soaking in the vibrant cultures and landscapes that stretch far beyond the confines of your current reality? Go for it. There is an incredible power in these moments of personal freedom. They offer not only adventure but also a chance for transformation. This kind of freedom allows you to experience life in ways that few ever do. It opens doors to new relationships, personal growth, and a deepening of who you are. It provides you with the space to become your most authentic self, without compromise, without filtering your desires through the lens of anyone else's expectations. This is your life, and it's a story that only you can write. But there's something even more profound to consider. Living alone, far from being a sign of loneliness, can lay the foundation for healthier and more fulfilling relationships in the future, should you decide to have them. When you truly embrace solitude, when you become comfortable and at peace in your own company, you discover a deep, unshakable sense of self-worth. You're no longer driven by the need to fill an emotional void or the fear of being alone. Instead, you find yourself entering relationships, not out of desperation, but out of a deep desire for meaningful connection, built on mutual respect and shared values. When you're whole within yourself, you can approach others with love, not because you need them to complete you, but because you simply want to share the fullness of your life with them. The growth that comes from living alone is immeasurable. It nurtures self-reliance, sharpens your communication skills, and strengthens your ability to set and maintain boundaries, skills that are invaluable in any relationship. When you can communicate clearly and authentically, when you know how to safeguard your peace and honor your needs, you enter partnerships from a place of strength and self-awareness. You are no longer willing to sacrifice your essence for someone else's comfort or approval. Instead, you choose relationships based on genuine connection, where both individuals can thrive, supporting one another as equals. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Living alone also gives you the precious opportunity to pause and reflect on past relationships, take stock of your values, and clarify your desires. It offers the time to truly understand what you want and need from a partner, without the distractions or influences of someone else's presence. The clarity you gain during this time is invaluable. How many of us have rushed from relationship to relationship, hoping that the next one will be the one that fills the gaps we've been carrying inside? How many people settle for less than they deserve, simply because they haven't taken the time to figure out what they truly want? Living alone creates space to deepen that understanding. It allows you to reflect, to grow, and to learn to embrace the fullness of your being. So when the time comes for partnership, you can step in with confidence, knowing exactly what you seek. Now, let's address one of the biggest misconceptions, that living alone means you're incapable of love or connection. In reality, nothing could be further from the truth. I would argue that living alone can enhance your ability to love, to connect, and to build meaningful relationships. When you've learned to nurture yourself, meet your own emotional needs, and find fulfillment within your own life, you become a magnet for healthy, balanced relationships. You stop looking for someone to fill a void, and instead, you seek someone to share in the richness of your already full and satisfying life. This shift in mindset transforms how you show up in relationships. It's no longer about seeking completion. It's about seeking companionship, respect, and mutual growth. This change in perspective allows relationships to flourish with far greater depth and balance. You are less likely to lose yourself in a relationship, to become codependent or obsessed with fulfilling someone else's needs. Instead, you maintain your individuality, your passions, and your sense of self, even as you build a partnership with someone else. And living alone, with all its freedoms, gives you the space to build deep and lasting friendships, too. Without the constant energy spent on a romantic partner, you can focus more fully on the platonic relationships that provide you with essential support, joy, and shared experiences. These friendships can offer a kind of fulfillment that romantic relationships sometimes can't, providing emotional connections that are free from the pressure of expectations or the weight of unspoken rules. Let's not forget the importance of self-love in this entire equation. Our society often equates self-love with selfishness, But in truth, self-love is the foundation upon which all other relationships are built. If you cannot love and accept yourself, flaws and all, you will find it nearly impossible to form deep, healthy connections with others. Self-love is not about being narcissistic or self-centered. It's about recognizing your worth, embracing who you are, and showing up in the world with the confidence that you are enough, just as you are. When you truly love yourself, you stop seeking validation from others and start building relationships based on genuine care, respect, and mutual admiration. It's in these relationships, both with yourself and others, that you find the greatest sources of fulfillment. In the end, living alone isn't a sign of weakness or loneliness. It's an invitation to know yourself, to understand your needs, and to build a life that's truly yours. It's an opportunity to grow into the best version of yourself, one that is ready and willing to share that fullness with others, should you choose to do so. Embrace it. There's a beautiful, quiet power in living on your terms. And when you do, you'll realize that the love and connection you've always sought were right there within you all along. Living alone offers a beautiful and unique opportunity to develop an intimate, nurturing relationship with yourself. It's a chance to truly discover who you are, to become your own best friend, your pillar of strength, and your source of comfort. This journey of self-love isn't about narcissism or being selfish. It's about deeply recognizing your worth and honoring yourself. It's about treating yourself with the kindness, care, and respect that you deserve. It's about being gentle with your own heart and allowing your spirit to grow. In a world that often asks us to give so much of ourselves to others, living alone provides the sacred space to take care of your needs, both physical and emotional. Self-love ripples through all aspects of your life in truly transformative ways. When you cultivate a loving relationship with yourself, it shapes how you interact with others, how you approach your work, and how you tackle the challenges that life inevitably throws your way. You begin to operate from a place of abundance, grounded in the knowledge that you are enough, just as you are. This self-assuredness isn't about arrogance, it's about authenticity. It's about showing up in the world, not as a perfect being, but as a human who understands their value and doesn't seek validation outside themselves. The confidence that comes from this kind of self-acceptance brings more joy, clarity, and authenticity into your life. Living alone also offers an unparalleled opportunity for personal growth. Without the distractions, compromises, and external expectations that often come from sharing a space with a partner, you are free to focus solely on yourself and your evolution. You have the freedom to explore the deepest parts of who you are and who you wish to become. Whether it's developing new skills, deepening your knowledge, pursuing further education, or committing to your physical and mental health, the possibilities are endless when you live alone. The world becomes your canvas, and you get to decide the colors, the brushstrokes, and the direction. You can dive into books, take up new hobbies, or engage in deep self-reflection. The quiet solitude allows you to experiment with new experiences that challenge you and expand your horizons. There's something incredibly powerful in being able to push yourself outside of your comfort zone without the need for anyone else's approval or input. This focus on personal growth doesn't just benefit you, it radiates outward, enriching everyone around you. As you become more self-aware, emotionally intelligent, and skilled, you can bring a more positive, empathetic energy to your relationships, your work, and your community. Your growth and evolution have a ripple effect that contributes to the collective well-being of those you encounter. And then there's the spiritual and emotional nourishment that solitude provides. In this fast-paced, always connected world, true solitude is becoming increasingly rare. But it is in these quiet, reflective moments that we often find the most profound insights about who we are and what we want. Solitude is not loneliness. It is a sacred space where you can hear your voice more clearly, where you can connect with your intuition, and where you can explore your deepest beliefs and values without the influence or opinions of others. There's something almost magical about the stillness. It can be transformative, leading you to understand yourself more deeply and helping you clarify your life's purpose. Solitude allows you to sit with yourself in a way that nothing else can. It gives you the gift of time time to reflect, to evaluate, and to simply be. Through this process, you come to know yourself in ways you never thought possible. It is in this quiet space that many of us experience our most meaningful realizations. When you truly embrace living alone, you open yourself up to the possibility of discovering your deepest desires and your true path in life. Now, there's a common fear that often arises when discussing the idea of living alone, the fear of growing old alone. It's a deeply ingrained societal belief, one that has been handed down through generations. But I want to challenge that fear. Living alone doesn't mean you'll be alone forever. It often enhances your ability to create deep, meaningful relationships with others. You have the opportunity to build a rich and diverse network of friends, cultivate close relationships with family, and engage with your community in ways that are authentic and fulfilling. As you grow older, living alone can empower you to maintain your independence and autonomy in ways that you might not be able to in a shared living situation. It enables you to take full responsibility for your well-being, which ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and vibrant life. And let's be honest here, being in a relationship is no guarantee that you won't feel lonely in your later years. How many elderly couples have you seen who barely tolerate each other, who've drifted apart over the years but remain together simply out of habit or fear of being alone? The reality is that being with someone doesn't automatically bring you the kind of fulfillment that comes from loving yourself. When you live alone, you learn how to fill your cup first. You find joy within yourself, and that joy becomes the foundation for everything else. You are no longer dependent on anyone else to provide you with a sense of purpose or happiness. You learn that your presence is enough, and that understanding becomes one of the most precious gifts as you age. Living alone, rather than being a source of fear, can be a profound journey of self-discovery and empowerment. It is in this solitude that you can experience the most profound transformation, creating a life that is deeply fulfilling, rich with meaning, and truly your own. Living alone offers an incredible, life-altering freedom that can deeply enrich your later years, allowing you to age on your terms. It's not merely about solitude, it's about owning your life in its purest form, without compromises or the need to negotiate with anyone else. You have the precious gift of choice, designing your days exactly as you wish. Whether that means embarking on adventures around the world in your retirement or savoring quiet, peaceful moments at home, focusing on your hobbies, the decision is yours alone. There's a profound sense of liberation in this, an emotional release that lets you live authentically without the constant need to please or consider someone else's desires. Moreover, when you live alone, you have the opportunity to create a vibrant social life. While many people in relationships tend to retreat into the comfort of their partner, gradually letting other friendships fade, living alone motivates you to actively nurture and sustain those connections. The bond with friends, family, and even new acquaintances becomes vital, enriching your life with a sense of belonging and love. The older we get, the more we realize the importance of staying connected to others, mentally, emotionally, and socially. You'll find that, over time, your friendships will be a precious source of support and joy, and living alone helps ensure that those relationships remain a priority. Then, there's the profound impact living alone can have on your professional life. Without the pull of a live-in partner's expectations, you find yourself with more time, energy, and mental space to focus on your career. Gone are the worries about missing dinner with your partner because you're staying late at the office, or the guilt of taking on an extra project. You're free to explore opportunities that excite you, pursue a new career path, or dive into further education, all without consulting someone else's preferences or schedules. It's incredibly liberating to make decisions based solely on what's best for your career. This can lead to not only career advancement but also a deep sense of personal satisfaction that comes from knowing you're the one driving your future forward. Living alone can foster the perfect environment for creativity and productivity. Your home is yours to design as you see fit, a space free from distractions or the need to accommodate another person's habits. Whether it's setting up your ideal home office or creating a daily routine that aligns perfectly with your natural rhythms, the flexibility to work how, when, and where you want can make a world of difference in your ability to thrive professionally. Financially, living alone offers both challenges and rewards. Though it may seem like a more costly path, the financial control it provides can be empowering beyond measure. There's no need to worry about your partner's spending habits or debts affecting your stability. You can manage your finances exactly how you want, setting your priorities, saving, and investing toward your personal goals. This independence can lead to a profound sense of freedom, knowing that your future is in your hands. The ability to make life-changing decisions, whether that's relocating for a new opportunity, pursuing further education, or launching a business, becomes an exciting possibility, without the financial constraints that might come from juggling a partner's financial needs. Living alone also opens up space for a deeper connection with the world around you. Free from the intense focus on a romantic relationship, you often find yourself more present in your community. Whether that's through volunteering, attending local events, or getting involved in causes that ignite your passion. This can lead to a life filled with meaningful connections, a sense of purpose, and the emotional fulfillment that comes from contributing to the greater good. The beauty of living alone is that you can be fully present in your community, with the time and emotional capacity to nurture relationships that truly matter. Finally, there's the undeniable gift of personal space, something that in today's busy, often overwhelming world, is incredibly precious. Living alone means your entire home is your sanctuary, a place where you can retreat, recharge, and be truly yourself. You can design it to reflect your soul, whether it's meticulously tidy or beautifully chaotic, every inch of it is yours to command. But it's not just about the physical space. Emotional and mental space are equally vital. Living alone allows you the freedom to process your thoughts, reflect on your experiences, and engage in deep self-care. There is nothing quite like the emotional clarity and peace that comes from having a home and life that are entirely your own. In the end, living alone isn't just about solitude. It's about embracing the incredible opportunity for personal growth, freedom, and self-discovery that comes with it. It's about creating a life that's uniquely yours, filled with meaningful relationships, career fulfillment, financial independence, and an ever-growing sense of purpose. It's the perfect way to age with dignity, joy, and the wisdom that only comes when you live life on your terms. The beauty of living alone, the simple yet profound act of making decisions without the constant input of others, is a gift that often goes unnoticed. There's something deeply nurturing about the freedom to just be, without the overwhelming weight of considering how your every mood or action might impact those around you. In this quiet space, away from the noise of others, you are allowed to recharge, reflect, and reconnect with yourself. It's a rare and sacred opportunity for self-discovery, something that is incredibly difficult to achieve when your existence is constantly intertwined with other people's lives. How often do we find ourselves lost in the expectations of others, unable to hear our voices clearly above the cacophony of external demands? When you live alone, that voice becomes clearer and more resonant, and it's a voice that has been there all along, patiently waiting for you to listen. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Now, there's a myth that often creeps into these conversations about living alone. This idea that it's somehow unnatural or unhealthy, that human beings are destined to live in constant company, that solitude is something to be feared. It's a myth that society has perpetuated, a deeply ingrained narrative that has never truly reflected the whole of the human experience. When you step back and look at history, you see that some of the most brilliant minds, the most innovative and creative spirits, were those who chose or were drawn to solitude. Think of the hermits, the monks, the artists, the philosophers. These are the individuals who, through their quiet, solitary lives, made lasting contributions to society. Their solitude was not a sign of weakness or failure, but of strength and clarity. And let's be honest, our ability to embrace solitude is one of the things that makes us distinctly human. Unlike animals who seek constant companionship for survival, we possess the extraordinary gift of being able to sit with ourselves, reflect, create, imagine, and innovate. This is a capacity that should be celebrated, not diminished. Solitude isn't about rejecting human connection or retreating from the world. It's about creating a life that allows for deep self-reflection and personal growth. A life that prioritizes your journey while still leaving room for meaningful connections when the time is right. It's about knowing yourself so deeply that when you do engage with others, you're not seeking validation or approval, but rather offering the fullness of your being, fully whole and self-sufficient. The irony of solitude, and something I find so deeply moving, is that the more time you spend in your own company, the more you learn to appreciate the relationships you do have. When you live alone, every interaction becomes a conscious choice, a deliberate connection. You no longer take relationships for granted or view them as obligations. Instead, you engage with others from a place of richness and fullness. You connect with them because you want to, not because you have to. It's in this intentionality that deeper, more meaningful relationships are born. When you don't feel the pressure of constant social engagement, you open yourself up to the kind of genuine connection that can only exist when both parties come together freely, without expectation. Living alone also fosters a sense of resilience and self-reliance that is unlike any other. When you're responsible for every facet of your life, paying bills, managing household tasks, making decisions about your future, you build an inner strength that becomes the bedrock of your confidence. This kind of resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. You grow capable of handling whatever life throws your way, with grace and ease. You're not just going through the motions, you're actively shaping your life and your destiny. You take risks, chase your dreams, and step boldly into new experiences, all because you know, deep down, that you have the strength to handle it. And then there's the beauty of decision-making. When you live alone, every decision, from the smallest to the largest, is yours alone to make. This autonomy might initially feel intimidating, but it's also incredibly liberating. You are no longer tied to the preferences or expectations of others. You're free to choose based on what you truly want, what you value, and what aligns with your deepest desires. This freedom to make decisions from a place of true authenticity is something we often take for granted. But when you live alone, it becomes a practice, a muscle that you strengthen over time. This ability to make decisions confidently not only enhances your personal growth, but also makes you a better leader, a stronger friend, and a more decisive person in every area of life. Lastly, let's talk about the connection with nature that often emerges when you live alone. Without the demands of a shared space, you find yourself with more time and more mental space to truly engage with the world around you. You might take a walk in the woods just to feel the earth beneath your feet, or sit for hours, observing the changing seasons, lost in the beauty of it all. There's something deeply grounding about nature that provides a sense of peace and perspective, a reminder that there's more to life than the fast pace of technology and daily distractions. Living alone offers you the rare chance to slow down and simply be, to let the world around you fill you with wonder, and to embrace the natural rhythms that exist outside the noise of modern life. In these quiet moments, away from the world's expectations, you discover the richness of life. You connect with yourself and with nature in a way that can be both humbling and empowering. Living alone doesn't mean you're disconnected. It means you've given yourself the gift of truly finding yourself, and in doing so, you're able to offer the world a truer, more authentic version of who you are. Living alone offers so much more than just independence. It can have a profound and often underappreciated impact on your physical health. When you're alone, you gain complete autonomy over nearly every aspect of your daily routine. The food you eat, the amount of exercise you get, your sleep patterns, everything can be tailored to suit you. You don't have to adjust to someone else's preferences, habits, or quirks. This freedom allows you to make intentional choices that align with your personal health goals. You can fill your refrigerator with nourishing foods that make you feel vibrant and energized. Choose a workout that excites you, and go to sleep and wake up when your body naturally craves rest. There's a deep sense of empowerment in being able to honor your body's rhythms without compromise. Living alone creates a sanctuary for you to nurture your health in a way that feels most supportive of your well-being. But there's something important that I feel needs to be addressed, a common belief that living alone is somehow selfish or self-indulgent. I think this notion is rooted in outdated societal pressures that tell us we must constantly be in relationships, and that our worth is tied to being a part of something bigger, something communal. But I firmly believe that choosing to live alone isn't selfish at all. In fact, it's one of the most loving and self-respecting acts you can offer yourself. Living alone is a declaration of prioritizing your growth, your peace, and ultimately, your happiness. It's about creating the space to thrive on your terms. When you're in the habit of caring for yourself, of listening to your own needs, you become the best version of yourself. I have experienced this personally. The moment I started honoring my own time, my desires, and my quiet moments, I became more peaceful, more fulfilled, and far better equipped to offer love and support to others. Think about it. When you're constantly trying to please others, sacrificing your own needs, it only builds resentment and stress, leaving you feeling drained and empty. But when you're living authentically, when you take care of your soul, you're free to give to others in a way that's genuine and abundant. The truth is, self-care isn't just about taking time for yourself. It's about being able to give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. Living alone allows you to show up in the world as your truest, most vibrant self. Without the weight of compromising in an unfulfilling relationship, you're free to invest your energy where it matters most to you. Whether that's in your work, friendships, community, or personal projects. There's no greater feeling than knowing you've chosen your path, not because you're avoiding others, but because you're actively creating the space for what you truly value. Now, I want to touch on something else that I've come to love about living alone. Creativity. The quiet solitude that comes with having your own space is incredibly powerful. It's a rare luxury to have complete freedom to explore your creative impulses without distractions. Think about it. You can leave your art supplies out and dive into a project whenever inspiration strikes, without worrying about clutter. You can practice your music, sing, or dance to your heart's content, even if it's the middle of the night. You can write, paint, or build, whatever fuels your soul, without fear of disturbing anyone. I believe this freedom fosters not just creativity, but a deep sense of personal expression. Throughout history, many great artists, writers, and thinkers found solitude to be a vital part of their creative journey. Living alone gives you the precious gift of uninterrupted time and space to discover new layers of yourself and unlock creative potentials you may never have imagined. Beyond creativity, living alone offers an incredible opportunity for spiritual exploration. Without the presence of another person vying for your attention, you have space to explore your beliefs and engage in practices that nourish your soul, whether it's meditation, prayer, or simply quiet reflection. In my own life, this has been transformative. The ability to sit with myself, without external distractions, has helped me forge a deeper connection to something greater, whether that's the universe, nature, or my inner wisdom. This process of spiritual self-discovery gives life a sense of meaning and direction. It has allowed me to clarify my values, to get in touch with the truths that matter most, and to develop a moral compass that guides my actions with more intention and compassion. Ultimately, living alone isn't about being isolated or lonely. It's about creating a life where you can truly be yourself, without the constant noise of external expectations. It's about making choices that are deeply aligned with who you are and what you need. It's about honoring your body, your mind, your soul, and your journey. In that space of solitude, you're free to grow, create, reflect, and become the best version of yourself, without the weight of compromise. That's not selfishness. It's the most profound act of self-respect and self-love you can offer yourself. Living alone is often seen through a lens of loneliness or vulnerability, but let me tell you, there's so much more to it than meets the eye. When you step away from the constant dynamics of a live-in relationship, you open up a world of possibility, particularly when it comes to nurturing your emotional intelligence. Without the emotional ups and downs of cohabitation, you have the rare opportunity to understand your own emotions on a deep level. You start to recognize your emotional triggers, patterns, and reactions, which can sometimes feel overwhelming. But instead of projecting those feelings onto someone else or masking them, You learn to sit with them, to understand them, and to manage them. In those quiet moments, when you're by yourself, you discover the ability to self-soothe, to calm your storm. You don't need a partner to validate your feelings. You become your source of comfort. This emotional strength is a gift that ripples into every other aspect of your life. It makes you a more empathetic friend, a colleague who truly listens, and an individual who knows themselves on a profound level. There's something incredibly empowering about not needing someone else to handle your emotions. You begin to realize that emotional independence is a form of self-love. Then, there's your relationship with technology. In a world where we're constantly tethered to screens, living alone gives you the power to curate your own tech experience. You have full control over how much or how little you want to interact with the digital world. Without someone else's expectations or habits influencing you, you can create tech-free spaces in your home, zones that invite relaxation and presence. You can set clear boundaries around your use of devices. No mindlessly scrolling just to fill the silence. Instead, you begin using technology as a tool that serves you, rather than the other way around. This might sound simple, but the peace it brings is profound. You'll notice improvements in your focus, in your sleep, and in your sense of being truly present. It's a small shift that can yield incredible benefits. Now, let's dive into the fear of vulnerability that often creeps in when we talk about living alone. Society might tell you that living solo equals being exposed, weak, and unprotected, both physically and emotionally. But in my experience, this couldn't be further from the truth. When you live alone, you become acutely aware of your environment. You don't have someone else to lean on for safety. You take responsibility for yourself. You become more alert and more proactive about your well-being, and this awareness cultivates quiet confidence. It's like the world feels a little safer because you are in charge of your protection. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Emotionally, the vulnerability argument falls apart as well. Living alone shields you from the daily emotional turbulence that can come with a live-in partner. You're not constantly absorbing the little slights, the misunderstandings, or the compromises that often arise in shared spaces. You don't have to give up your needs or values to maintain peace, and you're not at risk of losing yourself to another person. Instead, you build emotional resilience. You become your anchor, learning to soothe and validate yourself without the need for external approval. This doesn't make you cold or detached. It makes you stronger. It allows you to engage in relationships with others from a place of wholeness, not from a place of desperation or need. The beauty of this emotional independence is that it gives you the ability to choose relationships based on mutual respect and connection, rather than fear of loneliness or dependency. Living alone also offers an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to foster a relationship built on trust and intuition. Without the constant noise of someone else's opinions or desires, you can truly listen to your inner voice. You begin to trust your gut, make decisions that align with your authentic self, and navigate life with a sense of clarity and confidence. It's a gift that many don't fully appreciate until they experience it. Being able to move through the world unapologetically yourself, guided by your intuition. This self-trust becomes a form of quiet power, one that gives you the courage to follow your heart and honor your true desires. And then there's the beauty of personal rituals. Living alone gives you the space to create daily routines that nurture your body, mind, and spirit. It's a rare kind of freedom, the ability to structure your day around what truly makes you feel whole. Whether it's morning meditation to center yourself, journaling at night to reflect on the day's events, or dedicating time for self-care, you have the liberty to build habits that serve your emotional and physical well-being. These personal rituals are not just tasks to cross off a list. They are acts of self-love, ways to stay grounded and connected to yourself. When the world feels chaotic, these rituals provide the stability you need to keep your sense of self intact. Living alone is not about isolation. It's about finding peace in solitude, cultivating self-love, and building a relationship with yourself that no one can take away. There's something deeply transformative about this process, one that shapes you into the most emotionally intelligent, self-sufficient, and empowered version of yourself. And I truly believe it's the kind of independence that makes life richer, more meaningful, and more fulfilling than we often realize. Living alone has a profound way of reshaping how we see ourselves and our lives. It's not just about having a space to call your own. It's about forging a deeper, more intimate relationship with yourself. When you live alone, there are no distractions or excuses. The dishes piling up in the sink, the bills you've been avoiding, or the laundry left undone, they're all yours to manage. And through this, you learn to take full responsibility for every little thing in your life. It's empowering. When no one else is around to share the blame, you begin to realize how much control you have over your environment and your future. There's something incredibly liberating about knowing that every choice, whether big or small, is yours to make. You become more accountable, more reliable, and, most importantly, more in control of your destiny. It's a humbling experience that teaches you resilience, patience, and the importance of self-discipline. Moreover, living alone has a profound effect on something we often take for granted: our sleep. Think about it. The power to create the perfect sleep environment entirely to your liking. The room is as dark or as light as you need, the temperature just right for your comfort, and the freedom to set your sleep schedule, aligning with your natural rhythm. These are not just luxuries. They are the foundation for better, more restorative sleep, which we all know is essential for our mental and physical well-being. No one's tossing and turning beside you, no external noise disturbing your peace. The quality of your sleep improves, and in turn, your mood, energy levels, cognitive function, and overall health benefit immensely. It's the kind of sleep that revitalizes you on a cellular level, fueling your body and mind for the challenges and joys of the day ahead. But perhaps the most unexpectedly rewarding part of living alone is the newfound relationship you develop with silence. In our world of constant noise and perpetual motion, silence is a rare, almost sacred gift. And when you live alone, you're forced to embrace it, to sit with your thoughts and feelings. At first, it may feel strange or uncomfortable, but in time, you come to realize the beauty and clarity that lies in those quiet moments. It's in these still spaces that we find some of our deepest reflections, the moments when the noise of the world fades away, and we can hear our inner voice. There's a peace in silence that can't be replicated anywhere else, a peace that nurtures the soul and quiets the heart. It's a space where personal growth happens organically, where you come face to face with yourself, and in that silence, you discover things about your desires, your strengths, and your dreams that you never knew before. And yet, there's often this lingering belief that living alone is merely a phase, a temporary situation until we find that perfect partner to share our lives with. This mindset can keep us from fully embracing the gift that living alone truly is. Let's challenge that idea. Living alone is not a placeholder. It's not a waiting room for a future that may or may not happen. It's a choice, a fulfilling, deeply enriching lifestyle choice. Whether you live alone for a few months or several years, or choose this way of life for the rest of your days, each moment spent in solitude offers opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and inner peace. It's a time to nourish your soul, to get to know yourself in ways that only solitude can reveal. There is joy in embracing this time, in savoring the space you have to build your happiness and find your way. And if the future includes a partner, that's wonderful, but it will be built on the strong foundation of the person you've become while living on your own. Because living alone isn't just about being without someone else. It's about discovering the strength, joy, and peace that come from truly being with yourself. As we wrap up today's discussion, take a moment to reflect on what we've talked about. Living alone isn't just about solitude. It's about owning your life, embracing peace, and discovering the depths of self-reliance and inner strength. Whether it's taking responsibility for your choices, enjoying a restful night's sleep, or finding clarity in the quiet moments, there's so much to be gained from this journey. What have you learned so far? What's one thing that stood out to you, something you're ready to put into practice in your own life? I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below with one lesson you'll take away from today's video and how you plan to apply it to your life moving forward. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.